Hello everyone. I figured we could all use a bit of an uplifter since the pandemic has many of us feeling isolated. I wanted to make this video not only for those who might need it, but also for myself. I struggle with loneliness as well sometimes. Right now, I'm not sure if it's something that can ever be cured completely, but there are definitely ways to overcome phases of it. And conveniently, I happen to have come across an episode of Clarence that will help me express what I've learned about this topic. Lil Buddy is the name of this charming story. If this video at all inspires you once I'm done, I recommend giving it a watch. Now, who is Lil Buddy? This is Lil Buddy. He may not seem like much, but to this character named Clarence, he's like a best friend. However, the children think that Clarence and his toy friend are weird. When he asks for the kids to play with him, they all reject him one by one. After a misunderstanding, he gets put on timeout and is forced to sit by himself for 5 minutes. It's hard for him to do nothing for that amount of time, so he overthinks and panics about something that shouldn't really be that big of a deal. Whether you are a kid or a grown adult, for the average person, it's difficult to sit alone for 5 minutes. Our minds easily drift off, and depending on the person, it can be incredibly uncomfortable. Clearly, Clarence doesn't have any experience when it comes to meditation, which is more important than a lot of us realize. He has a need, a desire, for others to accept him, but when he is rejected, he doesn't know how to handle it.
I just wanted people to play with.
As a result, he blames his toy friend for the rejections. He throws it against the wall, accidentally breaking it in the process, immediately feeling guilt for doing so. After running away to a random spot in a forest, then burying his toy, he loses all sense of enthusiasm and motivation. The middle of the episode consists of him slowly developing into a lonely, frustrated, and depressed school kid. His frustration leads to anger, and he is punished with multiple detentions. Not only does he feel lonely, but he doesn't want to talk to anyone, which is relatable. There have been times where I felt that way. Most people think loneliness is this thing where the person feeling lonely just wants friends. But it can also come from the idea that there is no one to talk to that will understand you. If you have followed my channel recently, you would know that I'm not the biggest fan of the modern school system. One of the reasons why is because school kinda just assumes everyone has friends to talk to, which isn't always the case, and definitely wasn't for me when I was first starting high school, which was a miserable time for me, by the way. School doesn't bother to tell kids that, hey, if by any chance there's no one to eat lunch with or to play basketball with, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, which is what a lot of kids automatically assume because of this toxic chase to be like everyone else. Clarence appears to be ashamed of himself throughout the episode. I really want those of you watching who are currently struggling with feelings of loneliness to take this point away. Being alone is nothing to feel ashamed about, no matter what anyone says. You might live somewhere where it seems like everyone has a friend to talk to or a romance they enjoy, but that doesn't mean there isn't beauty in being alone. This is something that I had to realize myself, and it's something that I still have to remind myself, considering I live somewhere that is very relationship oriented. Even then, I'm still able to find peace within myself, even if it's just for a day or two. So it's possible to enjoy your own company. And if you don't believe me, take a look at how this story ends. Clarence's issues get resolved after he is given his toy friend back. With the power of his imagination, he is able to enjoy time by himself by the end of the episode. One message we can take away from all of this is, it's important not to reject the people or things that bring us great joy, no matter what others may say about said things. In conclusion, being alone and feeling lonely are two completely different things. Being alone actually has a lot of benefits, believe it or not. The concept of being by oneself for a certain period of time is something that, in my opinion, should be admired, instead of feeling ashamed of. Of course, humans are social creatures by nature, so it's still important for us to be open to communication and connection with whoever resonates with us when given the opportunities. Because of this, I personally believe there should be a balance. One of the struggles that I run into, and us introverts run into, is that while we enjoy our alone time, there are other times where we crave social interaction. For example, I'm 21 years old living alone. Just like Clarence, I have a tendency to overthink my situation and turn it into something negative when it doesn't have to be. When in reality, learning how to be alone can actually be badass. It shows that we don't need to rely on anyone to still be able to enjoy and appreciate life. It's all about quieting the mind and focusing our thoughts to be more positive and uplifting. Because like I said, being alone is nothing to feel embarrassed or ashamed of. The idea that one is not worthy of long-lasting friends or romantic relationships is where I think the shame from being alone comes from. So something that I have been doing recently is saying to myself out loud that I am worthy of friends and relationships. When I say that a couple of times, I immediately feel better afterwards. It helps me realize that I don't need any friends or a romantic relationship to still feel as if I am worthy of those things. Plus, being alone gives me the perfect opportunity to treat myself like a king. So for those of you who need to hear this, remember to be there for yourself, even if it seems like nobody else is. You're the only one you are guaranteed to spend the rest of your life with. And technically speaking, none of us are alone. There is love all around us, love in different forms, whether we realize it or not. Plus, if we were alone, then there wouldn't be this many views on this YouTube video.